Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal have been legendary rivals for most of their careers. But in the twilight of Federer's career, the two shared a very emotional goodbye in some released photos of their final farewell. A lot of fans have been wondering what it would have been like to be a fly on the wall during that emotional exchange. Well, Federer's recently opened up about it, and we've got all the details. Let's dive right in. First things first, Roger Federer opens up on iconic Nadal image. Anyone who's a fan of tennis has seen the photo of Federer and Nadal. You know, that one, where after an iconic tennis match where they were on the same side of the net for the first time, but unfortunately lost, the two broke down crying as they sat next to one another. The snap itself is one for the history books. They had been rivals for their entire careers, and here they were, on the same side for the first and final time, and so emotional that they wouldn't be playing each other ever again. That exact photo of the two tennis legends in tears quickly found fame on the internet, becoming viral worldwide as fans of both players began to not only freak out over the wholesome picture, but also as Federer's retirement finally began to sink in. Now, in an interview with the New York Times, Federer shared that the viral photo of him holding hands with Nadal had reached him too, and he shared a little bit more insight into it as well. According to Federer, the heartwarming gesture was a secret thank you to the Spaniard, who he had played with 40 times in his entire career. What's more, Federer offers a bit more context to that photo. In the same interview, Federer shared that although it was a very short moment, it was a huge one at the same time. At one point, Federer was sobbing so hard as he realized that he had actually reached the end of his career in tennis, and he was just so grateful and happy to have experienced that moment right there in the photo with everybody. An interesting part of that moment Federer shared was that he thought it was really beautiful that Ellie Goulding's song was playing in the background as he was sitting there sobbing his eyes out. As he took in the reality of the moment, his focus was a little more on her and the music playing, and so he almost forgot that he was in public and people were taking pictures of him. And as that music played and he lost himself in it, he wanted to say something to Rafael Nadal, who was sitting right there beside him, but he was obviously too emotional to speak properly, and so he did what he could. He reached out and held his hand in what Federer called a secret thank you. And even that phrase isn't enough to describe that moment to him. Federer also shared that he knew many more pictures other than that iconic viral one had been taken of him, and he had hoped to get his hands eventually on those too because they meant so much to him. Moving on, let's talk about Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal's legendary rivalry. Baseball has the Yankees and the Red Sox. In soccer, it's FC Barcelona and Real Madrid. Even college football has Michigan and Ohio State. And men's tennis isn't any different. Here, the undisputed and most iconic rivalry was definitely between Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal, who have faced each other for an amazing total of 40 times throughout their entire careers. A total of 24 finals took place between the two icons, with Nadal taking the lead at 14-10. Interestingly, Rafael has always been the king of playing on clay. He always shined there, especially when Roland Garros arrived during the height of the rivalry. On the other hand, Roger Federer was always the king at playing on grass. Out of the total of 4 times the two had faced off on the grass, Federer beat Nadal 3-1. The pair first met in 2004, and their rivalry spanned almost 2 entire decades. Together, the two have won a total of 42 Grand Slam singles titles in what most people call the golden era for the men's game. Beautifully, the two played their final match together not as rivals, but as teammates in Federer's swan song at the Laver Cup this year. And while they lost their doubles match for Team Europe against Team World's Francis Tiafoe and Jack Stock, the court stood with Federer as he bade an emotional goodbye to tennis. And of course, it resulted in that beautiful photo of his moment with Nadal. Finally, a look into Federer's retirement from professional tennis. This year, Federer shook the world of tennis when he announced his retirement, bringing down the curtain on his legendary and illustrious career. He managed to win a total of 20 Grand Slams, including a record 8 Wimbledon titles, and he formed what was called the Big Three, which included him, Nadal, and Novak Djokovic, who have won 22 and 21 Grand Slam titles respectively. Unfortunately, Federer's body finally caught up with him in recent years, which was a huge reason for his retirement. To play in the Laver Cup, he had to push through calf and knee injury niggles, but he hopes that his body will be able to hold up to at least play in a few exhibition matches following his retirement. In an interview with the New York Times, Federer shared that he'd really love to have a proper goodbye exhibition game to thank his fans for their love and support throughout his career, especially considering that his last match had been at the Laver Cup, which had already been sold out out long before retirement had ever come into his mind. He knew a lot of people would have loved to get more tickets to bid goodbye to him, and unfortunately couldn't, so he hopes that he'll be able to do at least 1 or 2 exhibition matches just for them, so long as it's possible for him in terms of his health. Now, moving on to other news. First up, tennis player Roger Federer dines like Sheikh Hamdan in Dubai. If there's one thing Dubai royals are definitely experts at, it is choosing the finest restaurants. Roger Federer visited the popular Sushi Samba restaurant last week, which Sheikh Hamdan is known to adore. The restaurant uploaded a photo of Chef Kyung-soo Moon, the director of culinary at Sushi Samba, laughing with both Federer and the well-known actor Martin Lawrence, writing that it was a pleasure to have them both visit. With its glittering views of Dubai's skyline and its diverse cuisine that expertly integrates Japanese, Brazilian, and Peruvian influences, the location is a popular destination for both tourists and locals in the United Arab Emirates. Next up, Roger Federer not ready for another farewell in Basel. Roger Federer has politely declined the notion of another farewell ceremony at his home tournament of the Swiss indoors in Basel this month. Before he announced his retirement from the sport last month, the 20-time Slam champion was supposed to play in the ATP 250 tournament starting October 24th. Federer now believes that another ceremony would be a little premature given all the emotion and passion that had passed at the Laver Cup in London. As he was announcing his decision to respectively decline, he thanked them for their offer, but shared that he was still trying to absorb everything that had happened at Laver. While celebrating at home in Basel would mean the world to him, it comes too soon after London. Roger Brenwald, the director of the competition, nevertheless intends to hold a ceremony soon to honor the legendary Swiss athlete. Federer and Halle shared the title of the most successful athlete by winning the Swiss indoors a record 10 times. The last of his 103 career tour-level singles championships, the most recent of these, won in 2019. Finally, Novak Djokovic passes Nadal and approaches Federer's single surface record. In the rankings of most victories on a single surface, Novak Djokovic overcame Rafael Nadal and has now drawn closer to Roger Federer when he won 2 consecutive hardcourt championships in Tel Aviv and Astana. In order to surpass Roger Federer's record of 71 victories on hardcourts, according to the ranking, Novak Djokovic has to win 8 more hardcourt championships in his career. The Paris Masters is Djokovic's next competition. Djokovic will then compete in the ATP Finals in Turin. But Djokovic hasn't only surpassed Nadal in the ranking of most titles won on a single surface. The winner of 21 Grand Slam championships also reached a new victory rate of 83.29%. With the triumph in the Nur Sultan Championship, Novak Djokovic has won 83.293% of his matches, 205 losses to 1,022 victories. These figures enabled a Serbian tennis player to pass Rafael Nadal in this ranking, an advancement based only on numerical values. In reality, the Spanish champion currently has 83.281% of victories. Given that the Spanish tennis player has accumulated 214 defeats in his career, 9 more than the Serbian, the defeats are what set apart the two tennis legends. And that's a wrap for this video. Do you think Federer should host a goodbye exhibition match for his fans? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.